Hello, friend. Welcome to History ZZZ. Get comfortable. Let your body settle into wherever you are resting. Let your shoulders drop, unclench your jaw, take one slow breath in, and let it go. Tonight I want to show you something. Somewhere in the world, in a climate-controlled vault at Yale University's Voynich Rare Book and Manuscript Library, there sits a book. It is not very large, about the size of a modern paperback. Its pages are made of vellum, thin sheets of calf skin, soft and yellowed with age. Its covers are simple, unadorned. Carbon dating tells us it was made sometime between 1404 and 1438. That makes it around 600 years old. Every page of this book is covered in writing, neat, flowing script. The ink is held. The hand is careful, practiced. Whoever wrote this took their time, and in 600 years, no one has ever read it. Not one word, not one sentence, not one page. This is the Voynich Manuscript, and we are going to open it together tonight. The book got its name from a Polish rare book dealer named Wilfrid Voynich. In 1912, he was rummaging through a collection of old manuscripts at a Jesuit college in Italy, in the hills near Rome. Among the dusty volumes, he found something that stopped him. He bought it, he brought it back to London, he showed it to scholars, and then the long argument began. What was it? A medieval herbal? A book of plant medicines? An alchemical text? A code book? A hoax? A mystical work? Something encrypted by a genius? Or something invented by a fraud? No one could agree. No one can agree, even now. Before Voynich found it, the book had passed through royal hands. A letter tucked inside it, dated 1665, suggests it once belonged to Holy Roman Emperor Rudolph II, who supposedly paid the equivalent of 3,000 ducats for it, a fortune. Someone thought it was worth a great deal. What did they think it said? The writing itself is unlike any known language. The script has its own alphabet, somewhere between 20 and 30 distinct characters, depending on how you count them. They flow together in words and phrases, with spaces between them, just as you would expect. The text has the statistical properties of a real language. Some letters appear frequently, some appear rarely, some characters tend to follow others, some never appear together. In other words, it is not random. Whatever it is, there is structure in it. Patterns, rules, something that behaves like grammar. And yet no linguist has ever matched it to any language, living or dead. It is not Latin written in code, not Arabic, not Hebrew, not Greek, not any Asian script, not any indigenous script, not any language that has ever been identified. It may be a constructed language, invented from nothing by its author. It may be a cipher so complex it has never been broken. It may be a deliberate deception, a string of meaningless symbols made to look like language. No one knows. Let that settle for a moment. Someone sat down 600 years ago and wrote 240 pages, and we still cannot say what they wrote. Turn the pages. The manuscript is divided into sections. The largest section, scholars call it the herbal section, is filled with illustrations of plants, hundreds of them, large, careful drawings, roots, stems, leaves, flowers, each one accompanied by dense paragraphs of text in that unknown script. But here is the puzzle. Botanists have examined every plant in this manuscript. Some drawings seem to resemble real species, loosely if you squint, but none of them match exactly. Many of the plants drawn in this book do not exist. The flowers are wrong, the leaves are wrong, the roots are sometimes drawn as human figures, or animals, or strange geometric shapes. One theory, the artist was a trained illustrator but was working from descriptions rather than from life. imagining what the plant might look like based on text written by someone who had seen it or believed they had. Another theory, the plants are purely symbolic. They stand for something else. They are a visual code layered on top of a written one. Another theory, the whole thing is invented. The plants, the script, all of it, a dream put on paper. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine it. An artist, working by candlelight, drawing plants that exist only in their mind. Move deeper into the manuscript. Past the plants you find circular diagrams, charts that look astronomical, rings of symbols, figures around the edges, text spiraling inward toward a center. Some of these charts resemble zodiac wheels. You can make out maybe what might be Aries, what might be Taurus, what might be the Pleiades. But the figures are unusual, naked human forms, sometimes standing at the edges, symbols that do not match any known astronomical tradition. Medieval astronomers documented the heavens carefully. Their charts survive. You can compare them. These do not match. Were they charting something real in a system we have lost? Were they mapping something imaginary? Were they encoding something, a calendar, a schedule, a ritual cycle, in visual form that only the initiated could read? The stars above you tonight are the same stars those charts might describe, the same sky. 600 years later, whatever the Voynich authors saw when they looked up, they thought it was worth writing down. There is another section that no one quite understands. Page after page of small human figures, women mostly, standing in pools of green or blue water. The pools are connected by pipes. The pipes branch and connect, forming elaborate systems, almost like plumbing diagrams. The figures are calm. Some hold objects. Some are submerged to the waist. Some seem to be emerging from tubes or channels. The text flows around them in its endless unknown script. What is this? A medical text about bathing and health? An alchemical allegory, the transformation of matter through water? A cosmological diagram showing how the soul moves through stages? Some scholars have seen early anatomy in it, attempts to understand the body's internal systems, the flow of blood or lymph, represented in symbolic form. Others see theology, ritual, a map of the soul's journey. None of them have the text to confirm or deny it. The words, if they are words, keep their silence. Let the water pools settle in your mind as you breathe, strange and calm. The figures are not afraid. In the 20th century, serious effort went into breaking this book, not casual effort, the kind of effort that cracked the Enigma machine. During the Second World War, American cryptanalysts who had decoded some of the most complex ciphers in human history turned their skills to the Voynich. They failed. William Friedman was one of the greatest cryptographers America ever produced. He led the team that broke the Japanese purple cipher. He believed the Voynich was written in a constructed philosophical language. He spent decades on it. He never decoded a single sentence. The NSA has examined it. Academic cryptographers have examined it. Computer analysis has been applied to it. AI systems have been trained on it. The most sophisticated pattern recognition tools humans have ever built have found structure in the text, yes, statistical regularities, patterns, but no meaning, no translation, no key. Whatever the Voynich author was doing, they were either very clever or very good at looking clever. Some people believe the whole thing is a hoax, not a hoax in the modern sense. Not something made for attention or sold to a tabloid, a Renaissance hoax, a long con. The argument: someone, sometime in the 15th or 16th century, sat down and invented a script, invented a language, drew strange plants and mysterious diagrams, then sold this book to a wealthy patron as a rare and powerful text. Alchemical texts were fashionable. Occult manuscripts commanded high prices. If you could convince a rich man that you possessed a book of rare magical knowledge in a tongue only a few could read, and if you happened to be one of those few, you might live very well indeed. Rudolph II supposedly paid 3,000 ducats for it. A fortune, a year's of a craftsman's wages. Could someone have fabricated 240 pages of consistent, internally structured, statistically plausible fake language just to sell a book? The statisticians say it would be very hard. The patterns run too deep. Random invented gibberish doesn't behave this consistently. But the question has never been fully answered. Who would do such a thing? And would it matter 6 centuries later if they did? The theories are many. Some say it is a text in a language simply lost to history, a regional dialect of medieval Europe that left no other trace, a Creole language, a trade pidgin, something that was spoken in one community and written by one scholar and then forgotten. Some say it is steganography. The real message is hidden not in the script, but in the illustrations, in the arrangement of figures, in features only the intended reader would know to look for. Some say it is a medical text, written by a female practitioner to hide knowledge from authorities who would call it witchcraft. Some say it encodes information about psychoactive plants and their preparation, knowledge too dangerous to record plainly. Some say it is a spiritual text from a sect we have no other record of, a community that worshipped in ways we cannot reconstruct from any other surviving source. There is a theory for almost every section, almost every page. None of them fully accounts for all of it. Breathe slowly. The book is patient. It has been waiting 600 years for someone to understand it. It can wait a little longer. We can trace the book backward through history, but only so far. We know it was at the Jesuit college in Italy by the mid-17th century. Before that, the letter inside it suggests Rudolph II. Before Rudolph, the trail goes cold. Carbon dating places the vellum to the early 15th century. The ink is consistent with that period. The pigments match. So sometime around 1420, in some place we cannot identify, someone prepared this vellum, mixed this ink, and began to write. They were not in a hurry. The script is careful, consistent throughout. Multiple scribes may have worked on different sections. Slight variations in the hand suggest this, but the whole thing was made with care and intention. Whatever they were doing, they believed in it. A person who is writing nonsense does not write 240 pages with the consistency and patience this book shows. Or do they? What would drive someone to produce this, whatever it is? The question turns in the mind like a key in a lock that has no answer on the other side. Come back to the plants for a moment. There is a drawing on one of the pages that scholars call the sunflower illustration. The sunflower was native to the Americas. European knowledge of it dates from the late 15th century, after Columbus. Before Columbus, no European manuscript should contain it. If the vellum is dated to 1420 and the plant is a sunflower, then something is wrong with our timeline. Most botanists look at this illustration and say, it is not actually a sunflower. The resemblance is superficial. The artist was drawing something else, and we are pattern matching. But some say, what if it is? What if there was pre-Columbian contact we have not accounted for? What if a traveler returned from somewhere with knowledge of plants that were not yet known to the wider world? This is the strange vertigo of the Voynich. Everything in it is almost something you recognize. And then, when you look closer, it is something else, like a dream that almost makes sense. In 2016, Yale digitized the entire manuscript and made it freely available online. Suddenly, millions of people could hold this book in their hands, in a sense, could zoom in on every page, could study every character of that flowing, impossible script. Citizen researchers joined the effort. Data scientists ran statistical analyses. Computational linguists compared it to every known language family. In 2019, a computer scientist named Greg Kondrak and his student used AI to suggest the language might be encoded Hebrew. They were able to produce a tentative translation of the first line of the first page. The translation, if correct, she made recommendations to the priest, man of the house, and me and people. It might mean something. It might mean nothing. The methodology was disputed. The full text still did not yield. In 2022, a researcher proposed the language was a Proto-Romance dialect from the Iberian Peninsula. He translated a few words. Neither translation has been accepted as the solution. Each year brings new attempts. Each year the book keeps its secret. There is something uniquely unsettling about a text that cannot be read. We are surrounded by writing we can understand, signs and screens and pages and messages. Our world is drenched in language we can decode. The Voynich removes that certainty. When you look at its pages and see the neat rows of unknown characters, you feel the strangeness of communication itself. That what we call language is a shared agreement, a set of symbols that mean things only because we have all agreed that they do. If the agreement breaks down, if the people who made the agreement are gone, the symbols become shapes. Marks on vellum that once carried meaning and now carry only mystery. What did you want to say? Who were you saying it to? The author of the Voynich Manuscript wrote for someone, maybe for many people, maybe for one person, maybe for themselves alone. Whatever they meant to say, the silence around it has lasted 600 years. Where was it written? The carbon dating says early 15th century, but it does not say where on earth the vellum was prepared. Theories have placed the Voynich in northern Italy, in the Netherlands, in England, in the Holy Land, in Central Asia, in the New World. One compelling theory places it in northern Italy during the Renaissance. The style of the illustrations, not what they depict, but how they are drawn, has parallels with certain Italian manuscripts of the period. The figure of the bathing women, the flowing lines, the particular way roots and stems are rendered. Northern Italy in the early 1400s was alive with learning and experiment. Merchants returned from distant travels with strange knowledge. Scholars collected old texts and tried to decode them. Alchemists worked in the margins of polite society, seeking transformation and knowledge. If it was made there, in that world, by someone who moved through that milieu, who might they have been? What did they know that others did not? The city of Venice glows on the lagoon in your imagination, a room above the water, the sound of boats, the smell of ink. Who wrote it? Wilfred Voynich believed it might be Roger Bacon, the 13th century English philosopher and early advocate of empirical science. Bacon wrote about secret languages and ciphers. He had a reputation for mysterious knowledge. But the carbon dating rules this out. Bacon died in 1292. The vellum dates to more than a century later. Some scholars have proposed Edward Kelly, an Elizabethan alchemist who worked with the occultist John Dee and claimed to communicate with angels in a constructed language. The timeline is possible. The character fits. Others have proposed it was written by a woman, a healer, a midwife, a practitioner of herbal medicine who encoded her knowledge to protect it from the Inquisition. The handwriting shows someone practiced and educated. The knowledge displayed, botanical, astronomical, medical, suggests someone with broad learning, a scholar, a physician, an alchemist, a mystic, a forger. All of them are possible, none of them can be confirmed. The author of the world's most mysterious book left no other record of themselves. The manuscript has sections. The herbal section is the largest, then the astronomical section with its circular charts, then what scholars call the biological section, the bathing figures, then a section of small medallions and fold-out pages that seem to be maps or cosmological diagrams, then what might be a pharmaceutical section, small containers, roots, and plant parts with text, and at the end a section of pure text, no illustrations. Long paragraphs ending with star-like glyphs. The structure suggests purpose. This is organized as a reference work, not a narrative. Someone made decisions about what went where. There is a table of contents on one page, its entries pointing to parts of the book that are now lost, pages that were removed or fell out centuries ago. So the book we have is incomplete. Part of the answer may be in those missing pages, pages that are gone, perhaps forever. The book has lost parts of itself too. There are pages in the Voynich that fold out, large illustrations that expand to 3 or 4 times the size of a normal page, showing maps or panoramas of something we cannot identify. One of these foldouts shows a series of circular forms connected by paths and channels with structures at the centers. Some researchers see a map of a city. Others see a cosmological diagram, the structure of the universe as the author imagined it. One foldout is 9 pages wide when unfolded. It shows something that looks almost like a landscape, hills or waves, structures, paths. If it is a map, it maps a place no one has been able to identify, a city that exists nowhere, a landscape from a dream. Unless it is a real place, its name written in the text around it in letters no one can read. Somewhere, maybe, there is a city that matches this map, or there was, once, and it is gone. Or there never was, and someone simply made it. You cannot know, not tonight. At the very end of the manuscript, the illustrations stop. The last several pages are dense paragraphs, pure text, no drawings, long blocks of that unknown script, broken occasionally by marks that might be paragraph endings or chapter divisions or something else entirely. Some researchers believe this section is the key, that the author, having illustrated what they needed to illustrate, here speaks directly. Instructions, perhaps, or conclusions, a letter to the reader in a language only the reader would know. The last page ends mid-sentence, or what might be a sentence. The final character hangs at the bottom of the page, and then there is nothing. Vellum, darkness. The author stopped, or was stopped, or finished, in a way we cannot see as finished. Whatever they meant to say, they said it, or they ran out of time. We will never know which. Tonight, the Voynich Manuscript sleeps in its vault at Yale. Climate-controlled, carefully catalogued, Voynich MS 408. Researchers can apply to study it in person. The digitized version is free for anyone to open on any screen in the world. And still it holds its secret. 600 years ago, someone made this. They carried it or sent it or hid it. It passed through hands that valued it enough to preserve it, through wars and floods and the decay of centuries. It survived. Whatever it is, the encoded work of a genius, the invented creation of a gifted forger, the sacred text of a vanished community, the private record of someone who expected no one else to read it, it is here. 600 years of human history, and the book is still here. Let that be enough for tonight. You are settling now. The mystery of the Voynich does not need to be solved tonight. It has waited 600 years. It will be waiting tomorrow. Let the unknown script become a sound in your mind, flowing, rhythmic, like a language you almost know, like something heard through a wall, like a melody in a language whose words you cannot catch. Somewhere, the person who wrote it knew what it meant. They sat with that knowledge, in whatever room, in whatever century, and they wrote it down. And then they died, as all of us will, and the knowledge went with them, or stayed in the book, waiting. There is something peaceful in that, if you let it be. The idea that some things are not for us to know. That mystery is not failure, it is the shape of time. Breathe slowly. The book is patient. You can be patient too. The stars that the Voynich charts may have mapped are above you now. The same sky. Shifted by 6 centuries of precession, the constellations turned slightly from where they were in 1420, but the same stars. Whoever looked up and drew those circular charts, they were standing under the same stars you are sleeping under. They had questions we still have, about the sky, about the body, about plants and water and the movement of time. They made something in response to those questions. A book, a strange, patient, persistent book. And it has come all the way to you, across 6 centuries of human history, carried by hands that preserved what they could not understand. That is also a kind of answer, maybe. Not to the question of what the Voynich says, but to the question of why we keep asking. Because the asking is human. Because we cannot help it. Because a mystery at rest is still a mystery, and there is something in us that wants to be near it. You are near it now. Let it rest with you. The Voynich Manuscript remains unsolved. 600 years, the world's greatest minds, every tool we have built. The book keeps its secret. Maybe someone, someday, will find the key. Will read the first sentence and understand what was written there on a cold morning in the early 15th century by a hand we will never know. Maybe they will find it in the statistical patterns, maybe in a new discovery of a related manuscript, maybe in an archive, in a letter, in a notation in the margin of another old book that gives the final piece of the puzzle. Or maybe not. Maybe this is a secret the world keeps forever. Either way, the book is here, the mystery is here, and you are drifting now, slowly, into sleep. This was History ZZ, the book no one can read. Sleep well.